Hello all, welcome back once again to another interesting episode under the Ajadi Kamrat Mahasar story series by Mom Mr. Musings. Today I'm going to talk about another interesting personality from Delhi who is known to be the first recorded power broker in the Indian history. Surprising, isn't it? And she is the most interesting personality who is an excellent negotiator. As usual, for a power broker, she needs to be negotiated, right? But she's also a brave queen. She's a good personality. There are so many interesting aspects to her personality. She's none other Begum Samru from Delhi. Interesting, isn't it, my dear friends? Nowadays, we hear so much about power brokers who is responsible for merging couple of parties. In the similar way, in 17th century in India, the political situation was in a very volatile format. Mughal Sultanate was losing its power or dominance. Sikhs, Rajputs, Marathas, Sindhis were trying to expand their territories. Britishers were trying to get a strong foothold in India, and that is a very fertile ground for mercenaries like from Europe to get settled in India. And you know what these mercenaries were doing? They were offering their services at a cost for the kings who come and approach them. Mm. And the services here are basically sending a troop of army people, which will help that particular king who has requested their services in fighting in the war against their enemies. One such European mercenary who came to India is Walter Reinhard Sombre. So, Sombre is not his last name. His last name is Reinhardt, Walter Reinhardt. But he was given nickname Sombre by his army troops because he's always in the somber mood or always in the very serious note. So our Indians, changed that Sombre name to Samru, and that is how his wife got the name Samru. So now moving ahead with the story. Walter Reinhardt's first battle in India as a European mercenary was is the Battle of Patna. Here he supported King Neil Qasim from Bengal in fighting against the Britishers. In this battle, he killed almost 1,500 to 2,000 British soldiers without any consideration. And this enraged the Britishers, and they started looking out for Walter Somhart everywhere. Walter Reinhardt everywhere. And to escape from their wrath, Reinhardt started moving all the way from Patna to through Awadh, UP, Meerut, and he reached Delhi. And at that point of time, in Delhi, Shah Alam too situation is in a very dicey situation. He is not able to wage wars with the Marathas, Sindhis, Rajputs were always trying to occupy the Delhi throne. And Walter started helping Shah Alam too in maintaining his kingdom in the same status quo. And Walter felt that basically Reinhardt felt that this Delhi is the right place for him to settle down because Britishers have not yet stepped into Delhi. So Reinhardt, along with his army troops, are settled down in Delhi. And then one fine day, he went to Chandni Chowk, red light area. In the current Delhi, we do see Chandni Chowk, right? At that point of time, Chandni Chowk, behind Chandni Chowk was the red light area, which was situated in Delhi in the olden times. He went to the red light area, and here he meets a girl by name Farzania, who is just a 15-year-old teenage girl. And she is very beautiful, and her eyes are so black and bright that they attracted Reinhardt, and they made Reinhardt fall in love with Farzania. So Reinhardt had asked Farzania to come along with him. And Farzania, though was born and brought up in the red light area, actually, honestly, we don't know her origins, from where she came and stuff like that. We know about Farzania's presence only from the red light area of Delhi. But Farzania used to always think herself as different from all the other ladies who are present in that red light area. So she told that in case if Reinhardt wants her to come along with him, he needs to win the sword fighting along with her. Imagine the situation here. Reinhardt is a brave soldier who is already army commander, who is already wearing so many wars. And here we have one a small young lady for 15 years doesn't know any military skills, who hasn't even touched his sword till date. But how boldly she's enticing Reinhardt to have sword fighting with her. That shows her brave nature, isn't it? Reinhardt obviously won the fight, and Fazania has set along on a long journey along with her new companion Reinhardt to the unknown destination. She doesn't know what is going to happen to her in future, but she knows that she can man. She has confidence in herself that she can manage in any situation. Wonderful brave, girl, I should say. And being with Reinhardt has helped Fazania to learn a lot of things in which she is interested, like military skills. She started loved visiting battlegrounds. She sat on elephants, went to the battlegrounds, saw how battle is getting fought in the real life, and she should come back with to Reinhardt and ask her doubts and improve her knowledge on the about the battles, about how the army should be conducted, how the army should be trained and stuff like that. Along with it, just because she's sitting along, she's going along with Reinhardt, her entry into the women quarters of the royal forts, be it be Delhi Sultanate, Maratha Empire, seeing Rajputs everywhere, it became easier for her and she started developing deep and meaningful friendship with the ladies in the women quarters of royal forts. And remember, she's an excellent negotiator. She knows a lot of like languages, and being with with these different kinds of people have also improved her knowledge to quite an extent. And that is the time when Shah Alam II has actually gifted Sardana Empire to Reinhardt because of his services, and Shah Alam II also made Reinhardt as the mayor of Agra. And then our Fazania, now being called as Begum Samru because she started living with Walter Reinhardt, moved to Sardana, and they started taking care of the Sardana Empire. And here also, Begum Samru never kept quiet or never stayed in the women quarters all by herself along with the other women folks. She started taking active part in the day-to-day political administration, day-to-day military administration. She started working closely with the army battalion of Reinhardt, which is in a way very good for her because after moving to Sardana, within 2 years, Reinhardt had passed away all of a sudden, and then our Begum Samru had taken the full control of Sardana Empire. And as I already told you, that she started getting foothold in the social circles of the Delhi and northern India at that point of time, right? Her parties were very famous during that time, where Europeans used to come down for ballroom dances. They should come and dine, have dinner. There will be a lot of wine flowing and stuff like that, and people used to really wait for her party invitations, and her military meetings used to happen in full court where you can see Begum Samru without any hijab, without any burqa, sitting down along with all the male counterparts from different areas, Europeans, who should help her in making decisions as to which empire she should start selling her services next, what should be her military strategy and stuff like that. That's not all, my dear friends. Here, as a new heir to Sardana Empire, she started working on the benefit of the common man as well. She knew the importance of education after being in the Kotai or the red light area of Delhi. So she stressed on the need for education for everybody. She made education compulsory for all. I mean, she encouraged all the people in her empire to get educated. She improved the employability chances. She gave more, she more facilities for agriculture, for other craft work, other types of professions like weaving and all other things in her empire. So that way, she also won the hearts of common folk. She's not just close to the royal families and the royal, I mean, upper segment of the society. She is also working towards the middle and the lower segments of our society. She is being seen everywhere. And After Reinhardt had passed away, Begum Samru converted herself into Christianity and she became a Catholic. And she started taking the name Joanna because she associated herself with Joan of Arc very vehemently at one point of time. And even after Reinhardt had passed away, she never stopped her friendship with Shah Alam too. In fact, she kept on helping Shah Alam too multiple times, even after Reinhardt had passed away. There are two such instances which are of very significant importance in Shah Alam's life. One is that when the Sikhs from Punjab has tried invading Delhi, and they wanted to have a fight with Shah Alam too. And immediately as soon as she heard this news, Begum Samru went to the outskirts of Delhi and met the Punjab Army Battalion and tried to negotiate a deal with them. And because of that deal, all the Punjab Army Battalion has returned back to their homeland. And she came back to Shah Alam too and convinced him to open a lot of gurudwaras in and around Delhi so that their Sikh brothers can worship their deity in peace without any pressure from the external agencies. The second one is about the continuous invasions of Ghulam Qadir Rohilla. Ghulam Qadir from Rohilla started invading Shah Alam too, and because he wanted to take away all the loot from the Delhi Sultanate. Unfortunately, he couldn't succeed as long as Begum Samru was there in Delhi or in Sardana, and she was always helping and safeguarding Shah Alam too. And that is that once what happened is Begum Samru was being called to uh, Begum Samru was being called to Maratha Empire to defend a Maratha king, and she had gone there to support the Maratha king. And then, hearing the news that Begum Samru is not around, Ghulam Qadir had come down to Delhi, attacked Shah Alam II, and tortured Shah Alam II to understand where the entire loot of Mughal Sultanate is, and he wanted to take away. But his dream couldn't be fulfilled because as soon as um, Begum Samru got the news, she rushed back to Delhi and drove away Ghulam Qadir out of the Red Fort, out of Delhi to his own state. But in the meantime, Shah Alam too got handed by Ghulam Qadir. That is another different story altogether. But no wonder Shah Alam too used to always refer Begum Samru as his favorite little sister. And he had given her the title Jebrunisa, which means very different, precious from when compared to all the other women folk he has encountered till date. So we don't should we call Begum Samru as Joanna or Jebrunisa or Begum Samru is all left to us. But her legacy stands tall even today in Meerut and even in Delhi. And the Sardana Palace, which Shah Alam too has gifted to Begum Samru, still houses the Christian school for and caters to the education, which is a prime uh, important, which for which she has given prime importance during her reign. And Bhagirath Palace, which she has constructed in Delhi, in and around Chandni Chowk, still stands tall. But in the continuous busy market, it's a warehouse for all the electrical goods. But still, you can see the old remnants of those longish Roman columns and all the big buckets, everything, which is being totally obscured by the ACs and other stuff that has been done. And after she got converted into Christianity, Begum Samru has built a beautiful church called Basilica of Our Lady Graces in Meerut, where her tomb is there even till today. And this Basilica has also been blessed by the Pope from Vatican City, which shows her devote her devoutness towards the Christianity religion, how true she has become a Christian and stuff like that. So that's all is my today's story, my dear friends. I hope you like it. A small teenage girl from the red light area has grown into the Begum of Sardana and started forging alliances across between different kings and started safeguarding them Just let us take the example of Shah Landu. She has saved at least more than 5, 6 times, and we know only two stories which are of really importance, isn't it? Look at her grit and her determination to achieve something in her life. As long as we believe that we can do anything, we then only we can achieve. If we think that yes, we'll do it tomorrow or we can do it later, and that later or tomorrow will never come, isn't it? That is what mm, Begum Samru's life story teaches us. So that's all is my story for today. Let us meet tomorrow with another interesting story. Bye bye, my dear friends.